What's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Biker Channel Auburn SRA series. Today, you're watching the Confluence Trail. This is the confluence of the North and Middle Fork of the American River. For 2 miles, you'll drop 550 feet downhill right along the Middle Fork of the American River. It's not overly technical. However, newer riders, they may find the chunky rock sections and exposure a little intimidating. To get started, most people park at the confluence and ride up the Clementine Trail and Lake Clementine Road. The first half's a little fire road, single track, double track kind of thing, and the second half's all paved road, which will get monotonous. However, once you reach the boulders and the porta potty, you have a couple of options. If you're completely over climbing, take the shortcut trail down to Stonewall and right over to Confluence. If you got a little more climbing in the tank, go up Fuel Break for another half a mile, and then you can add on the culvert trail to make that downhill right around 3 miles. Once you pop out of the culvert trail, cross the street and head down the road. Confluence will be on your right. You'll drop into a short single track that rolls you into a loose fire road, or you can hit the gap and launch into the trail. As soon as you hit the fire road, there will be a little booter on the right. It's always fun to hit. Then as you head on down the trail, you'll notice a few different sidelines that you can take to spruce things up. Keep your eyes peeled to the right side of the trail. There are a lot of little hidden gems along the way that are easy to miss. I've been riding this trail for years, and somehow I recently noticed one that I've been riding right by.
I didn't know that one was there. New stuff all the time. Make sure you're ready for the drop at the end. It's a little janky in the middle.
Before we get too far down the trail, there's another way to start that makes this trail even more challenging for those of you who've been riding it for a few years and may be getting bored. Just back your rear tire up to the gate and let go of your brakes. See if you can make it all the way down to the Kids Don't Float sign without pedaling. Shift into your climber to keep from dropping a chain, and it'll help sway you from wanting to pedal. You'll be surprised how quickly you pick up speed and are tapping the brakes. Believe it or not, I can get a sub-6 time on this without pedaling, and it's actually made me faster at this trail because you really have to learn how to maintain your speed through the corners. So, give it a shot. It's a lot harder than it sounds. Back to the trail. Let's look at it from a POV perspective.
All right, let's drop in. Little booter right here. Can't forget these little whoop-de-whoops along the way. So Confluence is basically, it's a staple of Auburn rides. People come up here, a lot of times, this is the one that they walk away from saying, that was the most fun.
At this point, I think it's important to remind you that people hike this trail, and some riders, they like to climb it. So be aware when that happens to you on your PR run. It just means you'll have to ride it again. Which, come on, really isn't a bad thing, right? The trail kicks it up a notch and goes from wide open fire road to single track. As soon as you make this transition, be prepared for a little exposure that, honestly, still makes me nervous. If you're riding this when it's been raining for a while, definitely take caution, as sometimes there will be a little waterfall that tends to wash the trail out, or make some wheel catchers that I've seen cause a few OTBs.
Some little bigger hits there on the left and the right. Stuff you can bounce off of if you feel like it. Always a good time. Big huge gap there. Those of you who aren't into gaps, you can always hit this little rock here. Woo! This section up here seems to be worn out a little bit on the right. So I stopped, or on the left, so I stopped taking that way. Start going over the rock like that. Come through here, a couple different lines. Whatever feels good. If you follow the channel, came through here a couple weeks ago, bounced my soul off the ground. Haven't worked up the nuts for that yet.
Shit, you all right, man?
Yeah.
So in case you were wondering, this is how you don't do it.
Yeah.
Apparently, that corner always has some surprises for me. A few years back, came right through this section, almost ran into a bear. It's moments like that which remind you that you aren't the top of the food chain and compel me to hand out really thought out life lessons.
That's not what you want to see up here.
Moving on from there, it's a good idea to keep an eye on the right side of the trail. Once again, the little extra credit things, they're sprinkled all over.
The Strava line through here. Little rock booter on the right. High line and a low line through here.
Watch yourself on the low line. There is a rock down there that will screw up your line something fierce and roll you down the hill if you're not paying attention.
Call this the TP. I think the TP's the fastest. A little bit of jank. If you're doing the no pedal,
you'll really need to carry your speed through this corner and up over the top of this little hill, because otherwise you're never going to make it. The section following that has 2 lines you can choose from. Stay left if you're a newer rider, and stick to the right if you want a little more challenge.
This one's more chunky, the other one's a more flow. Always fun coming through this corner.
The sight lines aren't as good on this section, so keep in mind there could be someone right around the corner.
Hey, how's it going?
Since COVID, this trail's seen a lot more uphill traffic, and typically I just assume it's going to be busy unless it's a weekday during business hours.
Ever since COVID, there's been a ton of hikers, so definitely pay attention to that. Slip your way right through there. Down this. Little secret booter right here. Whoa!
This is the second little uphill that will be tough to get through on the no pedal challenge. Otherwise, blast over the hill and open it up.
If you're really trying to get after it, a lot of time in this segment's made right through here through pedaling your rear end off.
Be aware, if you take this next corner too hot, you're in for a big fall, down the side of a hill and all the way to the river. And sometimes people are climbing up as well.
So if you're doing the no pedal, this is the last one. And if you can make it up over that one, you're doing good. Last little bit of exposure for those of you guys who don't like that. Watch yourself over this corner.
From here, the no pedal's all about no brakes and using every bit of the terrain to pump track your way to the sign at the end. It's also the most heavily trafficked part of the trail. So if you're coming through trying to pedal for that PR on Strava, remember, there's a good chance that this is where it's going to fall apart. In all of my no pedal attempts, I've only got to about here. But I have friends that have made it all the way to the sign, so let me know down in the comments if you have too.
If Strava's your thing, make sure you don't stop pedaling until you get up to the concrete. Right about there. Whew.
Now that you've made your way back to the Confluence, have yourself a cold one. And if it's summer, take a dip in the river. If you like this, do me a favor, hit subscribe or the thumbs up. And last but not least, remember, it only takes a bike to be a biker. Get out and be one.